am going to see if I'm up here live on in the group. Just double checking. So far, I don't see it. I look like I had a temporary glitch there. So we're going to see. I know my boys are upstairs playing games. Oh, we're live. We're live. We're live. So, hey, I didn't make an announcement on this, and I didn't do anything that would kind of give you a notification about this. But I wanted to say hi, everybody. I haven't done a Facebook Live inside the Boomtime group. I've been doing Facebook Lives. I've been doing some other Zooms, and I thought today would be kind of funny because today is my birthday, and it's my first quarantine birthday, which is kind of funny.
It will be your only quarantine.
My only quarantine birthday, so I thought that was kind of funny. And Stacy and I were talking. We were sitting on a couch. We had to because they shut down all the restaurants in Ohio about a week ago, and then just now on the news they made an announcement that we're under, what do they call that? House orders or something.
Yeah, it's not
stay at home order.
Suggestion, it's an order, but they're not calling it a lockdown.
so we're supposed to stay home and stuff like that. What's kind of funny is the fact that this is my life anyhow. Like for Stacy and I, nothing has changed whatsoever.
Well, my life it has changed a little bit.
How has your life changed?
Well, you're always here, and I get to escape you every now and then. But now I have to be with you. But I want to be with you all the time.
I see. That's a good answer.
This is how home businesses work. If you can get away from each other, it works really better.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, you've had the break, and you miss each other. And
I do miss the gym. I usually played racquetball on Monday mornings and Friday mornings, and then I worked out during the week. That was kind of my only socializing that I did.
As long as it warms up soon. Do we have anybody from Ohio on here yet?
Yeah, probably. I know there's a bunch of people jumping on here, but anyhow, let me get to something pertinent here. A lot of you guys. So here's the thing is, I'm not going to sugarcoat this or anything, but a lot of people probably are wondering, like, how does something like this affect your business and stuff? And it obviously affects everybody's business. Okay, everybody. Everybody's going to feel what's going on. I mean, you cannot, because it's on every news channel, every time you open Facebook up or Twitter or Instagram, somebody's making a comment or a post. I typically put out funny stuff because I like to keep things light. I just, the way I cope with everything is comedy in most cases. Okay. And the other thing, though, is I will tell you this, is in the United States, we're kind of in a unique situation with the media, okay? And the media does, I personally believe, this is just me thinking out loud here, overhype and sensationalize quite a bit of information, okay? Now, all that being said is I have people, like a lot of you probably are wondering, like, well, is anything going on in the company? Anything going on in the business? Well, actually, yes. Like I've done in the last couple days, I've done Zooms that had a lot of people on each one of them in different countries, and they had plenty of guests. They had plenty of people that signed up, and I have a good amount of enrollments. I mean, with everything going on, I'm watching the volume go up. I'm watching the growth of the business go up. You've probably noticed that I've got people that have submitted customers, and the customers are growing and things like that. And I just didn't want you guys to think that, that nothing was going on, because hopefully you're plugged into what the company's doing, what corporate is doing, not just, the stuff I usually put out, because I don't want to always be your answer. I need you to make sure that you plug into Spencer Iverson's things, okay, like the morning inspiration. Johnny Wimbrey just did one recently. Michael Jex did one not too long ago. There was a fantastic interview with Carolyn Johnson and Tigray on there. Tommy Johnson's on tonight doing the presentation. Tommy's crushing it. Like, Tommy's crushing it. They're doing Zooms, they're doing lives, they're doing things like that. They're putting themselves out there so that people, people can see that you're doing something, right? That you're making it happen.
Put that back where it was.
I'll put it right here. Is that good?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm watching. I look to see I can see who's making comments on here. But anyhow,
what is it? What activity should everybody be doing, do you think, during this time? Like, What have I been saying to you?
A great question. So what activity? First activity that I think is important that we have learned a long time ago is that we operate our day on a pretty structured basis. When we wake up, we go sit in the same spot with our coffee, and both of us read. Typically, I read something spiritual, something either out of the Bible or a book similar to that kind of, on that guys, to kind of get that motor running right there. And then I read maybe a chapter or some small section, and then I immediately switch over into a business book. And what I mean by business book, a lot of it's leadership oriented and things like that. Because what you have to understand is that there's always something that's going to stand in someone's way in their life. Like, this isn't the first epidemic. This isn't the first thing. I mean, if you think of people that had to go through like World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, Gulf Wars. I mean, there's a lot of different things that pop up. And in most cases, I'd say just about every one of them, it all comes down to how are you going to handle that situation? Obviously you got to be tactful. Like I see some people that it's just probably their personality type. They just kind of come unglued. They get more panicky and things like that. Then there's others that are a lot more stable. Like I've said this in some of the trainings, is you have to learn how to control your emotions. And I'm an emotional person by birth. I get emotional. I can get angry. I can get sad. I can do those things. But instead of trying to go from a 1 to a 9, that kind of thing, I try to keep my emotions from what would you say, a 4 to a 6. I know I'm going to go up sometimes. I know I'm going to be down sometimes, but I have to control that. She's mostly, not mostly, but a lot of times my meter to keep me engaged in things, keep my brain going, that type of thing. And so that's what's good. But I didn't answer your question, but go ahead.
Well, what I was thinking was what I've been saying to him a lot, and what I encourage all of you to do is, we've got a lot of time on our hands, right? And not necessarily, it's not necessarily that you're not doing this, but now is the time to build a relationship. If you haven't built relationships with your team, to maintain these relationships, call your people, call your friends who you haven't talked to in a long time, and build those relationships now to see where they're at in their life, to see they don't care what you have to say unless they know that you care. When's the last time you really showed that you care? Call for no reason at all, but just to find out, hey, how are you guys doing? What do you guys think about everything? Is there anything I can do to help? Do you have anybody that you've been talking to that I can help with? I mean, just continue building relationships. I think that's what's most important right now, because people are volatile. They are feeding on fear, and fear is just ugly. I don't really let that continue if it starts in my house. I knock it down right away. And, I'm a Christian. And another thing is, you hear stuff all day long. You hear this and that, and this was going on, and this state's doing this, and I can't believe this, and the president's doing this. It all comes down to this for me. What does God say about that situation? What does his word say about that situation? And then if whatever I'm hearing doesn't line up with that, I try to shut that off as fast as I can. So those are just a few things that
that's good.
Trying to.
But those are the facts. That's the truth. The truth is it's very easy. You have kind of like one of those situations where it's like, choose this day whom you will serve. You probably have all heard that saying before. And the way I approach that a lot of times too is, what am I going to give life to? What am I going to give life to? Am I going to feed on this, or am I going to feed on that? Because I promise you, this is going to go away.
It's going to pass.
This too shall pass, right? I promise you this is going to pass. But we're going to have some amazing, funny stories. And
you'll be so happy that you remain stable, like stability, staying constant, staying content, staying thankful, staying helpful. All these positive things, you'll be so glad that you did after it's all over.
And now this one, I'm glad this popped into my head, is one of the things that you can do proactively to counter any kind of situation is to become a giver. And I don't mean just giving money or anything like that, which is obviously you should be doing that. But every time this has nothing to do with the current situation what everybody's going through. This is how I learned to overcome seeds of doubt, anger, fear, things like that. Like I remember one time, and it has to do with giving, because when you give, I'm telling you, it's a biblical principle first and foremost, but something goes off in your spirit and your soul and your mind, your emotions, that empowers you. Like it's literally a God-given thing that you can give. And I remember one time, Stacy and I, we had an apartment. We were in an apartment. I think we had Isaiah, which is my middle son, and Alexis, and she was pregnant with Zeke. And I got an eviction notice to be kicked out of our apartment because I didn't have any money coming in. And I mean, what do you do as a dad who was trying to do some networking thing? I was still in networking when that happened. And Stacy couldn't work she was working as a waitress, being literally 9 months pregnant. I got another kid coming in, and you see that little thing on your door that says you have 15 days to either pay up or you're evicted. And you had to be behind in your income to begin with to get an eviction notice. And I remember the panic, the fear that just started to overtake me, and I didn't know what to do. And I had to get something, and I went to the store, and I think I had maybe $30 in my pocket. We had to go. She wanted me to go get some milk. I was with walking distance, and I stormed out of the house. And I remember I went up there, and I didn't live at that time, I didn't live in a very, affluent neighborhood, to say the least, and I went down there, and I remember there was this lady that was in front of me, and she didn't have a lot of stuff, but I remember looking at that, and I said, am I going to give into the fear of lack and not having enough, or am I going to go out in faith and bless this person? So in my head, I thought, you know what? Screw my doubts, screw my fears, screw my thoughts that are coming against me. I'm better than this. And I bought that lady's groceries in front of me. It was like $18 or something like that. But $18 when you have 30 to your name is a lot. Okay. It's a lot. And when I did that, I mean, it just gave me this like fire within inside. I mean, I teared up when I did it because it was like my moment of making a stand. And what was so cool about it was literally within less than a week's time, one of the reasons we had gotten behind was I was in a business that owed me money, and they owed me like thousands of dollars, and just out of nowhere, it disappeared. And I didn't know what to do. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't like I was being negligent. It wasn't like we were out there blowing cash and things like that. And what happened was, it literally, I got what was so amazing, and how a lot of times God will operate is I got a phone call from a friend of mine, and he said, hey, he goes, I don't know what I was doing. I was just thinking about something, and I'm going to send you some money because I heard what happened. And he sent me $1,000. And I just literally, well, it's like that. I was like so grateful. And then I think it was like within a day or two, obviously this was quite a long time ago that this happened. The owner of the company that was supposed to pay, owed us the money, didn't pay anybody else in the whole company. And the guy called me up and said, listen, I really felt bad with what happened. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay you $1,000 a week for the next, I think it was 7 weeks, because that was what they back owed me. And I remember just sitting there in awe that I literally went from being so fearful and so afraid that I took my stand in faith and just took that little action. It was just something little. But at the same time, $18 didn't seem like a lot back then. But the more faith you got to have, a lot of times, the bigger the seed is.
And you took the time to sow. That's basically what we're saying is, you don't have to sow financial. You don't have to sow,
You don't have to give money. You don't have to give stuff away.
But during this time, sow goodness, sow kindness, sow love. And you know what? It's all going to come back to you. So it gets your mind off of the junk. I mean, Holton Bugs had a training for the people that qualified for the Sapphire Splash earlier this week. And I remember thinking what he said at the end of it. He said, you know, for the past 3 hours, I haven't thought about this thing at all. I haven't thought about what's going on because I was doing good things. He poured his heart out to all of us. And that's basically what we're saying. I mean, during this time, find somebody you can sow kindness to and to change their life, and it comes back.
And along those notes, I'll give you some easy things to do. If somebody makes a post and something like that, make a nice comment on it, like a positive comment. Try that. I keep going to the grocery store because I like to eat. And when I'm in the grocery store,
I'm like, we don't need anything else.
But that's like my only place to socialize now because they shut everything down and they're still allowing us to go get groceries, which doesn't make any sense anyhow. But when I go through the grocery store, I usually go into the grocery store and I'm always just like focused, not looking at people, getting my work done, you know, that's my mentality.
Yeah.
And now I've found myself going through there casually because it's like, I don't know when I'm getting out of the house again. And I make it a point to smile at people more often. Like, hey, how you doing? Like that, like nothing's happening. And they're like almost shocked that somebody's smiling back, right? This isn't, you know, this isn't War of the Worlds. This isn't I Am Legend.
Angie says we all go to the grocery store for fun.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We all go to the grocery store.
Best Buy's open. We should go in there.
Yeah, we drove by Best Buy today.
Open.
Target, we can go hang out at Target.
But we're not supposed to do that now,
I understand. So I get it. Now our Ohio's in lockdown. And I know there's a lot of you guys, other states that have been in lockdown like that before. But the other thing too is you got to remember that Zoom, Zoom, you guys know all about Zoom. You can get a free account on there for free, right? You can go in there, set up an account, and do video conferencing with people like that. You can do video conferencing with somebody on your phone these days through Facebook, through that. I like to use this platform, Be Live, to go on Facebook Lives and stuff like that. I put stuff on my YouTube channel because the more you can, the more you give in scenarios like this, I'm telling you, something changes within you. Okay. Something changes within you because, you know, there's just certain things that you can't control. Remember, I've done this in a ton of trainings, is you can only focus on the things you can control, versus the things you can't control. And the way I looked at it, I've been looking at it, was what can I do today? Because the Bible says only focus on what you can do, on today. That's really all you can.
Give us this day.
This day. Give us this day. Give us this day. You guys have all heard that prayer, right? And the way I approach it is, what can I do today to, first off, just not go stir crazy being in the house, which is not a big deal for me. Like I don't like to go for walks most of the time. And I know Stacy does. And one of the weirdest reasons is when I walk, because my arms are kind of big and heavy, it hurts my traps because I'm so muscular and muscle bound. And anyhow, and I said, hey, why don't we go to the park and we'll go for a walk? And there were people everywhere, just walking around and smiling, and people walking the dogs. And what's, I think personally, that you're going to find very shortly over a period of time, that what if, hypothetically, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole for you, but what if hypothetically, this is almost like a reset for people to realize what's truly important. Okay. What's truly important. What about the importance of relationships that we're now all not able to really interact with people? What if we've all been taking for granted the ability to just walk out our door and go buy something at the store? All of the things, are all of these devices and the cars and things like that, have they all been, maybe to the degree idols? Now, I'm not against good cars and good houses and stuff like that, and that's a blessing. But if you think about some of these things, I think a lot of people who have had to have a stop scenario. When's the last time people had sat with their families and played a game or had a sit down dinner?
All right, you have to play a game with me now.
No, we're doing a puzzle.
We already did.
She has a puzzle on
the puzzle. Will be going for at least 2 weeks.
We'll figure the puzzle.
We're almost done, but You guys
I
heard it.
may not.
No, he's
I don't.
gonna play a game.
I hate playing games.
Come on.
Okay, maybe a game.
You
but
just said.
anyhow, let me come on. You and now I got her thinking about games. But if you think about that for a second, that what's happened too is it's forced people to become family oriented. Y'all thought we were crazy for homeschooling. now everybody's forced to homeschool. You better picture that one pretty
Don't you
quick.
just love all the memes out there now?
Oh my gosh, I think some of the memes are.
Meanwhile,
just
the
hilarious.
Amish, the one I saw. Meanwhile, the Amish are doing the same thing they've always been doing.
Right. Somebody. I saw another meme that said, "Has anybody told the Amish yet about this? Notify them," and that kind of thing. But if you think about this, it's really a remarkable situation that we've all found ourselves in. How many people have actually adapted more prayer time than they have in the past because they're waiting for this? And I saw the funniest meme, that I think it was the Babylon Bee, which is like a satirical, right? Satire. You know what?
I think
it's satire. I forget the satire.
Yeah, but satirical is past,
satirical.
Right?
But anyhow, a satire thing, and they have some of the funniest posts because they're just obnoxious. And they said somebody wrote something on there that says disease that if you rub Chick-fil-A sauce over your doorpost, the disease will pass by. I know that's bad, and I laugh so hard because I can just picture who was the person that thought up that article. So anyhow, I have a strange sense of humor a lot of times. But if you think about this, a lot of us are interacting with people that maybe we haven't been before, like on Facebook and things like that, and trying to get that interaction. And in my opinion, from a business standpoint, in a business standpoint, I also believe that when this passes, which I guarantee you it will pass, and a lot faster than most people think it will, I believe that you're going to see an absolute gold rush for what's going to happen, because everybody that was taken going out to eat for granted, that ain't going to happen. I mean, you might have 4-hour waits now to get in at Burger King
every single day almost.
I used to go. I went out.
You still have.
I try to go out all the time. I love to go out.
He goes in and gets the food. So last night, I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, it was 9:00. We normally go to bed at 9:30. I said, let's go get ice cream. So at 9:30 last night, we went and got ice cream up at the UDF, took it outside, and we were sitting there eating an ice cream cone. And I looked to my left, there was another couple sitting there eating an ice cream cone, and a couple others, just like everybody's
just sitting there in their car licking ice cream cones at 9:30 at night. I had mint chocolate chip on a sugar cone. It was delicious.
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
And it was delicious, but
go do stuff like that too. I mean, you still got to go out. You still got to. We're not supposed to go out anymore though.
Yeah, we're not. But they said essential things.
Get used to
ice cream's essential. So, but anyhow, let me stay on here. I don't want to take too much longer on here. But here's kind of the thing is I believe in a very, very short period of time that all of this is going to be over, and it's going to be a windfall for people. All major, massive, a lot of times increases in income were for people that zigged when other people were zagging, where they did something that was, they didn't believe that was going to happen or whatever. I mean, you understand all those scenarios from all the past history of things that, this guy invested in a stock when it was $1 a share, and now he's a multi-billionaire, that kind of stuff. And I think that that's what we're going to see, obviously, in our business with the iBuumerang and obviously the different verticals. And I'm still putting customers on board. I mean, I still am running Facebook ads to generate driver leads. And I've got a lot of people that have become drivers. Because this
isn't just a travel company.
This isn't just a travel company. It's a technology company.
That's right.
And I got those coming in. We launched a country last week. I don't know if you happen to watch the thing I did on the Facebook Live for the Trinidad and Tobago group. I mean, they keep putting people in almost every day now. They're putting people in. And
I don't know about you, but when this thing is done, the first thing I'm going to do is travel. And I'm not the only one. I mean, I
may not stop traveling.
They have postponed their spring breaks. They have postponed, and people are going to travel. It's going to come back, and it's going to bounce back better than it was before.
I am supposed to be right now today on the beach in Cabo because we earned the Sapphire Splash thing, which got canceled, right? I mean, I mentally was already there. Like I was already there on the beach.
He even went to the tanning beds for the
I went to the
week.
tanning bed
Yeah,
just
he
so
was
I could be
getting
ready
ready.
for the sun. I've been working out good and eating. I was eating
We're so vain.
tilapia and
Like
broccoli, you know. So, but I'm just telling you, in my opinion, you're going to see a massive uptick in everything. I believe it's going to be a lot faster than we thought it would be. You have to remember too that society did exist pre-internet, pre-cell phone, what else do we have? Pre-YouTube, pre-Facebook, pre all that stuff for a few thousand years. Everybody still got along. Everybody still figured out a way to function. I mean, even if the power went out, there were people that figured out how to live and exist with this. We've just been spoiled over the last 50 years or whatever, or definitely the last 20, probably 10 because of the internet that we can do today. I don't think it's going to get to that point, obviously, but I believe that a lot of you, if I'm talking to you and you're paying close attention, are maybe in a situation right now where you're kind of teetering of making a decision, stay, go, is it worth pushing through, what's going to happen, that kind of thing. And the ones that stay, I'm telling you with everything in me, are going to be better off than you could have ever possibly imagined. I've been through this before.
Yeah.
I've actually seen
and we made the
movie.
wrong decision.
And I'm correct. I joined a company in 2008, right before the housing crisis. You remember 08, 08, 08 was the company's launch. And I panicked and I quit and I got out because I was like, there's no way that this, with what everything's going on, there's no way that we're going to recover.
Panic in the middle of
never make a prompt decision on a bad day. Yeah. Never make a decision on a bad day, like a big decision on a bad day.
Yeah, just.
And I made the decision not to. And I remember one of the guys that I told that he should quit too and go do whatever else I was planning on going to do. He stayed. And he's made millions of dollars. And I didn't think that thing was going to last.
Don't get us wrong. There are times where you should stop. But this is not one of them. This is not.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, why did I join this company? Why did I join Mike and Stacy? Why did I join Holt and Bugs? Why did I, right? It's still like wide open. It's the best thing that, we haven't stopped being excited on a high level since the day we said yes. We are very confident in this company,
and it's makes more sense than just about everything I've done.
Yep.
And people are going to be looking. People are going to realize also that they need other streams of income. I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of. I'm not trying to be this isn't a morbid reality here, but it is kind of a reality that if you don't, I got good check deposits over the last couple weeks from iBuumerang because when everything was going good, we kept building. And even when it slowed down, we had a few issues here and there, we kept building and it's paid off. It's paid off. And we've been able to, we're not panicked. We're not freaking out. It's like, but everywhere around, everybody's been warning about stuff like this for years. I personally believe in last couple things. I personally believe that everything right now is in a massive reset in a good way. And you're all about to experience this in a big way. And how you treat it, how you let fear attack you, or how you defeat fear with hope and change kind of thing. And thoughts. And, it says cast down every thoughtless imagination that tries to exalt itself above the word of God. Like if you read the promises,
hold every thought
captive. Yeah.
What does God say?
Fear not, for this. How are some of these? I got like 500 of them running through my head right now.
Yeah.
For the Lord has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. A sound mind. I repeat that a lot. Anytime an issue comes up. For the Lord has not given me a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. I can have confidence. I can be calm about things. I can not freak out. Okay?
And if you catch yourself doing that, when it's happening. You're watching something dumb. You're listening to one of your relatives or one of your friends that is saying, this is going to happen. Can you believe this? This is real. This is going to happen. Da, 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 da. If you catch yourself doing that, just stop everything, get into a quiet place, and pray and have positive thoughts and get yourself back to peace. Nothing will move forward unless you have that peace. So be disciplined. Do that for yourself. Be stable for your team, and reach out to other people to make sure they know how to move forward.
Yeah. And if you need a little pick me up, reach out. Right. I mean, sometimes if you're treading water, let's do a lifeguard scenario here. If you're treading water, you can tread water, right? You can sit in the deep end of the pool and you can tread water. And I was a lifeguard and at the end of my high school career, I was a lifeguard. And our job as lifeguards were to look out and look and make sure everybody was good. And in most cases, you kind of look at that. But you can't really identify if somebody's in trouble or not unless they kind of raise their hand or you see them like this. And a lot of times what a lot of you don't do is you don't reach your hand out for help, whether it's just, hey, how are things going? Okay. I understand that question from being in this business for so long. If you call Tommy Johnson up and you said, hey, how are things going? Because you might have some doubts and fears. I promise you, by the time you get off the phone with Tommy, you're gonna go on and recruit people, right, and get customers and things like that, and you're gonna have a new vision. Carolyn, his mom, does the same things. I mean, there's a lot of great leaders that we have all of the leaders in the company. I mean, diamonds, because we talk in terms of ranking in our company, right? The diamonds, why diamonds are so important to the company, and why a diamond is such a cool title for a business, for a leader, is the fact that diamonds are created through massive pressure. And it's coal, which is nasty, dirty, unrefined, is pushed under massive pressure that turns into something, what would you call that? Spectacular, vibrant.
Right.
What are some other adjectives I can come up with? I need my thesaurus right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a splendorful thing. I don't know if splendorful is a real word. Anyhow, whatever. Okay. I think what happened is I don't eat sugar very often, and I got my birthday brownie, which I don't eat brownies, and I ate a bunch of it, and a chocolate chip cookie.
But the point is, I'll bring you back. Is that reach out because there's people that are here for you, and I know. I'm always constantly, if you get a call from Mike, it's mostly because I'm the one going, have you talked to this person? Have you called this person? Have you done this person? You need to reach out also. You need to be the one, because a lot of times people won't do that. They won't be the ones they'll be silent. You can't chase people, but you just check on them. That's all. And
the thing is like, that's what I do. Like if I ever have a doubt about something, I will call Tommy and say, hey, Tommy, have you heard anything about this? And he may have has a completely different spin on it, or a different way for me to perceive it, because I've let myself kind of go down a rabbit hole that might be a negative, right. And he brings me back on point. Or I might say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. And he's like, oh, you've got to watch this video of this guy that helped him through the same scenario.
And you've all got someone like that. I mean,
yeah, it doesn't have to just, but it could be us,
right.
Could be Tommy.
But the point is, I'm so glad we have this community so that we can all, pull on each other and keep going,
The best businesses aren't built around money.
This is a people business.
The best businesses are built around people, community, and culture. I've said that from day one.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand the significance of it. And that's what's so neat to be a part of. I did not join this company for the product or the service, or really even the opportunity, because I know I have other skills that can bring in enough money to provide for my family. I know that sounds strange, but I joined it because it was the ability to engage in a community and culture with Holton, Tigray, with gentlemen that I had seen from afar, that they were kind of like opening it up now for us to be part of it. And I was like, that's the only time I've ever really seemed like I've advanced in a major leaps and bounds, is when I've partnered with people that were going to teach me other things. I mean,
so this is what you're doing right now. What you're doing right now is you are, during all of this, you're reflecting and you're asking yourself, what is it that made me come to this company in the first place? What is it that made me want to be part of this in the first place? And that is really it. That's the important part, I think, is that if you have people that are right now saying, oh my gosh, this is a travel company and we can't travel, or I can't afford $99 a month now because I'm not getting this, or whatever objection or thing that is, you need to go to them and say, stop. Why did you come to this company?
Take a deep breath.
Why did you come here in the first place? Why did you join me? Why did you say yes? What is your why? It hasn't changed. It has not changed, because it's not just about the product. It's about the team that we're with, what we have, and the future that Holton Buggs has shown us, the vision that he's laid out from the very beginning, which has not changed. It's just only getting better.
And the thing is these are going to be some incredible stories for the stage down the road. Do you remember when we were all quarantined in our house?
We need a shirt. I survived
COVID-19 or something, and this and this.
It's got to be good.
It'll be out, but maybe we'll do that. But I mean, if you think about it, that's really what's happening, and you have the ability right now to do that. Like I did a Facebook Live out of the parking lot of the Kroger on my he was gone
page for like 3 hours that day, by the way.
Like I mentioned, I went and I went out and hung out at 2 grocery stores
in the parking lot,
and I looked around and I watched
where
everything.
are you?
And it was a positive thing. I put out a positive thing. It doesn't mean if I put out positive stuff that I'm not addressing the issues. That does not mean that. It means that I'm reacting to it much more differently. That's not insane.
More maturely than in the past.
Do you know what I mean?
You have learned.
I have learned, my young Padawan. You know what I'm saying? Like you can do that. Leave some positive things and say, hey, I was out in the park today and it was so nice, and describe something positive to people. You'd be shocked at how powerful your words can be to change your environment around you, as well as it becomes contagious to what other people will begin to speak as well.
Right.
Okay. And I think that's because you're birds of a feather flock together, right? There's a reason for that. And I think that you guys are going to, see that if we all kind of take that position of strength versus just freaking out and so on, then it's going to change everything. So anyhow, I know we've been out here quite some time.
That's right. It's your birthday. You can do whatever you want.
It's I wanted to have a virtual birthday party, and this is, you guys are part of it. So
and he got a text.
I turned 52 today, by the way.
He got a text earlier while we were out getting food. What did your text say?
That I get free guac and chips at Chipotle today.
So that's what we're having for dinner.
So for dinner, I am going to Chipotle because it's about 2 miles up the street.
Which is like what we do once a day.
Which is pretty close to what I do. I do eat at Chipotle probably 3 to 5 times a week.
Look, we have some gift cards here still from
stacked. We just stack them up. Because my wife, she can't do anything unless it's a deal, so she buys all of these at the Kroger so she can get the gas rewards. And we buy gas for like 40 cents a gallon because of all the rewards we have.
That's right.
But here's what I'm going to say is there's a lot of you guys that are staying the course, staying engaged. I would suggest that you maybe get some teammates to maybe watch this video. I'm going to download it and put it on YouTube. I think it's something I'm going to get out there.
Us up and say, let's do a Zoom. I have 2 or 3 people. Like, line them up. Call us. Use us during this time. We all just need to start building our business like hard. Let's go hard and go strong for when it's over. We'll already be set up.
Right. So we're all positioned correctly. So you guys are awesome. Happy birthday to me. I know you guys don't have to leave me birthday things or anything like that because I won't be able to get back to everybody and I don't want you to think it. So if you do say happy birthday and I don't respond, I'm saying thank you very much right now. But Stacy, thank you so much for being on here. My awesome.
You're welcome.
Scratching my back. Oh, feels good. Okay. You guys are awesome. Love you guys. And also make sure that you plug into what iBuumerang is doing corporately on their Facebook page, because every day that they're putting out content, this is what they have decided to do in this time, and everybody that's plugging in is growing their business, which is awesome to see. So see you guys. You're awesome.
Love
We're
you guys.
awesome. This too shall pass.
That's right.
See you guys.
Bye.